think many of you guys are familiar with the Metropolitan Detention Center, as you've probably seen this image before. Now, this image showcases the many notable inmates that are present here, and also including 6ix9ine. This roster is pretty wild and stacked, which has gotten people to compare it to Arkham Asylum. But what if it actually was? Today, I'm going to pose this scenario. Something goes wrong at the Metropolitan Detention Center, and all the villains and criminals are getting released. Tons of mayhem ensues, police and guards are getting attacked, and if these guys get out of New York, then there's going to be more and more problems. So, Mr. Mamdani over here gets alerted and calls upon the one man who can save everyone. Batman, aka you. You see the bat sitting on the sky, suit up, and make your way over to the MDC. Now currently, the MDC walls haven't been breached yet. Despite the serious firepower in there, everybody is still inside the prison, but it's only a matter of time before shit hits the fan. So you meet up with Commissioner Gordon, who gives you a layout of MDC, and you enter the center. Now you then go past a bunch of guards gearing up, and then the main guard opens the main prison door. You hear a bunch of prisoners banging on that door, and then they all back up, as it slowly opens. Their faces initially are lit up with joy and excitement. They've been here for who knows how long, and now they finally have a glimpse of freedom. Until they see the Batman, and all their faces turn to horror. Some inmates flee, but others, who have a resentment for Batman for putting them in this shithole, grab whatever they can use as weapons to try and attack him. They start yelling at him and taunting him for being weak, trash, and whatnot. Batman simply looks around and analyzes everyone, and the guards close the door behind him. The escape that the prisoners got excited over is now gone, and the only way out to have a chance at seeing the outside world again is to defeat Batman. One prisoner gets heated and rushes towards Batman with a pipe, but the Dark Knight tanks the pipe and absolutely destroys the inmate with one singular punch. And so, the other prisoners all run at him and the fighting begins. As weak prisoners try to attack Batman, they're all defeated with a couple of punches. Some prisoners are barely conscious and some are knocked the fuck out. Then Batman goes to the guards that were dealing with the other guards to see the situation is handled. But then at that moment, and to start the onslaught of bosses for Batman, we have the newest member of the MDC, 6ix9ine. Armed with a pistol and a megaphone, he starts shouting shit at Batman, calling him weak and trash. You get the idea. He's basically the same as a normal prisoner. He stands atop a railing and has managed to gather a bunch of weapons from the knocked out guards, and has some prisoners armed. During the fight, 6ix9ine will order the armed prisoners to attack Batman. He'll also be shouting sonic blasts at you with his megaphone. This is the first boss, so it's pretty easy to dodge everything and defeat armed inmates. Once they're all defeated, you go into the next phase, where Batman grapples up to the same level as 6ix9ine, and he takes his shouting antics to the next level. Now, rainbow-colored sonic blasts will be fired all around him, making it a bit harder for him. He'll also occasionally use his pistol to shoot at you, but with all that screaming, he needs time to breathe, which gives you a perfect opening to attack. Once you beat him up for good though, the fight ends, marking the first boss done. Before you knock 6ix9ine out for good, he has one final trick up his sleeve. Snitching. So he tells you everything he knows. All the other high-profile inmates are located throughout the prison and how they've gathered and smuggled tons of resources already. He explains how they were planning something before he arrived at MDC and plans to send everybody in the world a message. What exactly is that message? Well, Mr. Hernandez here doesn't know. All he was notified was havoc and hijinks was about to ensue at the MDC. Batman decides he isn't useful anymore, so he throws him aside and he moves on to the next section of MDC. As Batman moves to the next section, he continues to fight more prisoners that had the genius idea to fight you. But as he enters the next main holding area, he sees a strange sight. Money. Like a lot of money. There's tons of cash everywhere around the cells and no other prisoners in sight. That is, except for one man. Sam Bankman-Fried. As Batman locks eyes with him, a bunch of money starts to fly around Sam. At first it looked like a coincidence, but then the money starts to fly around faster and faster, like Sam was some kind of money bender. The money that was flying around then started to form something. A throne. Sam took his seat and welcomed Batman. Sam Bankman-Fried, the infamous scammer that stole billions. It seems that all that scamming gave him superpowers over money. Batman looked around. He remembered all those celebrities that supported FTX, but he wasn't one of them. He would never let the money from Wayne Enterprises fall into the hands of a nerd with an ego. Before he could process any more information, you hear the sound. The sound of a sniper. He quickly moved out the way as the sniper bullet zoomed past him. The person who fired the weapon? Luigi Mangione. An odd duo. Why would the man who assassinated the United Healthcare CEO work with a scammer who stole billions? You recall the day Luigi went to prison. While his motive was just, his actions were not. Murder isn't the answer to anything, Batman says to the two. But Luigi angrily remarks how he has saved the lives of many just by murdering that one CEO. He tells you that once he gets out, he's gonna work with Sam to scam every healthcare company in the world, take all their money, and redistribute that wealth to those who need it. Sounds noble at first, but their Robin Hood plan has a bunch of ramifications that Batman cannot let happen. The two mock Batman for not killing, explaining how more people have died because of him and his soft nature. But Batman reassures the two that he is anything but soft, and the fight begins. Throughout the fight, Sam will shoot money everywhere, obstructing your vision against Luigi, who uses his powerful sniper against you. Sam will also turn his money into sharp knives and shoot them at you to get some lethal damage in. To win, you should use your grappling hook to get to the second level to attack Luigi. To get an opening like that though, wait for Sam to use his scammer beam attack, where he fires scamming energy at you for massive damage. If you avoid it though, he needs to recharge, so choose to attack Sam or Luigi during this time. I would get Luigi out the way first, as the sniper could get really annoying, and then I would go for Sam. This fight is all about patience and endurance. Stay calm and swiftly dodge their attacks, and eventually, you'll win the fight. After the fight, Sam will pass out due to overusing his powers, and Luigi will fall down to the lower level, knocking him out. Batman stares at their unconscious bodies and remarks how the two could have been the kids that could have saved the world, but they let malice enter their hearts, leading to the actions they have done. He walks away and enters the next section of the MTC. As he enters the next section, he sees more prisoners, but they seem different. They feel stronger, but their minds seem altered. It takes more punches to knock them down, and with a close look, their eyes are bloodshot red, mouths drooling, and their speech is incoherent. Then you open the doors to the prison cafeteria. There's plates and utensils everywhere, tables are destroyed and dismantled, and the place smells, not of food, but of drugs? At that moment, prisoners rush to Batman, their movement zombie-like, and their minds basically non-existent. But it still takes a bit for them to knock them out. As Batman continues to cross the cafeteria, he sees something on a table. A corpse. But it isn't the corpse of anyone. It's the corpse of Nicolas Maduro. His mouth foaming, blood spewing out of his body, and his eyes completely red. He was too weak. A familiar voice states. You look up and see none other than El Chapo. He's at a table with a syringe while prepping his arm. Drugs everywhere around him. Cocaine, marijuana, meth, heroin, the list goes on. You piece everything together. El Chapo drugged all of his inmates with something that made them go ballistic. He knew Chapo was good with drugs, but he didn't know how good. Seems that he injected Maduro with something potent, but his body couldn't handle the substance. Chapo then injects something inside of himself. His arm immediately begins to pulsate. Chapo's eyes roll back for about a few seconds, and it seems the drug is too much for him, as well. But then his eyes come back. They're red. But not the full eye, just the iris. As if someone had a red contact lens on. His muscles also grew, as if he had Bane's venom. A weaker version of it, at least. Chapo yells and goes berserk. He throws all the drugs and tables around him, and with no hesitation, he charges at Batman's. You stop him. But it's clear his pure strength is nothing like you faced before. You kick him off of you, and then he vomits on the floor. The vomit causes it to crack. Just the drugs in the system made all of his fluids extremely toxic. Batman has no words for Chapo. He's far too gone now. And the fight begins. During the fight, El Chapo will throw tables at you and use his toxic vomit to zone you off and charges at you. Very reminiscent of Bane. There seems to be no clear opening at all, so you slowly have to chip away at him after he's done attacking, like a Souls boss. He's screaming at you during the fight like a mindless zombie, but it's clear as the fight continues, his body is slowly deteriorating. When you dealt enough damage, he starts to spasm uncontrollably, and then in an instant, he drops to the floor. Batman checks on his body. His pulse, unresponsive. His body slowly leaking with blood, but his eyes? still only red in the iris. You walk away, ready to approach the next area. But then, you hear a loud scream, and then you turn around and see Chapo still standing up again. His movements, like the many inmates you've seen before, but Chapo has a trick up his sleeve. He pulls out yet another syringe. The same substance, it seems. Chapo states how he won't lose to Batman just yet, and then stabs the syringe into his heart. Shocked, Batman thinks this is an accidental suicide, but El Chapo, well, his body changes. He starts to grow in size, muscles expand even more, blood and toxic substance spewing all over his body. The fight isn't over yet. Chapo still has some fight left in him, but in Batman's eyes, Chapo is dead. The thing he's staring at is just a substance that took over a man who was once feared by the world. Maybe he did get his hands on Bane's venoms and mixed certain drugs with it, but who knows? Batman won't hold back, and phase 2 begins. He has the same attacks as the last phase, but Batman can't fight him when he charges. But due to his increased size, he's able to easily dodge under him and grapple onto his flesh. From there, he's able to land a flurry of punches onto him. The more damage Batman does to Chapo, the more ballistic and berserk he gets. He starts jumping high, to the point of his head hitting the ceiling, and jumps down with tons of power, sending shockwaves all over the place. But Batman, he's just that guy, and is able to grapple onto him one last time, and is able to deliver one final punch. Chapo falls to the ground, and more fluids of his body start to gush out everywhere. Batman looks at the damage he's done, and checks on Chapo's pulse again. It's slowly beating. Maybe the substance was actually able to give some form of life to him again, but his body is beyond repair. You leave him, wheezing on the floor, and finally, leave the prison cafeteria. As Batman enters the next holding area, he once again sees more drugged up inmates. Same old, same old. And then Batman spots 2 doors. One leads to the highest level of the NBC, and the other leads to the showers. When trying to open the door to the highest level, it's locked. Not even a keycard or an electronic jammer could open the door, so Batman reluctantly enters the showers. Once he enters, he nearly slips on the floor. It's slippery. Too slippery. And as Batman turns around, he sees something horrifying. Diddy and R. Kelly, completely naked. Diddy is covering the floor in oil, and R. Kelly is pissing everywhere. Batman has seen some fucked up shit. Scarecrow's fear gas and its effects, the Joker's twisted thoughts and actions, and even the shit that Darkseid has done. But this, seeing Diddy and R. Kelly in the prison showers, completely butt booty naked. Yeah, pretty fucking horrifying. As Batman turns to leave, the door is closed, and as Batman turns around to look at the 2 men, they're now bricked up. And then no hesitation, they charge at you, and the fight begins. Yeah, I'm not gonna go into detail about this fight. It's Diddy and R. Kelly. They try to take your ass, and the floor and walls are super slippery, but the ceiling isn't, so Batman grapples up to the ceiling and shoots batarangs at them until they're unconscious. And then the door opens, and Batman leaves traumatized. As Batman leaves the showers, the door leading to the high sector is now open, somehow. A long staircase awaits the Dark Knight. As he ascends, he starts to feel a certain demonic pressure. It gets stronger and stronger as you go up, until you reach the top floor. And you see a figure, someone wearing a dark colored robe, standing in the middle of a giant pentagram made out of blood. To the sides, many corpses of prisoners, dried of their blood. It starts to storm at that moment, and the figure starts to say an incantation. Weirdly, the water from the rain doesn't wash away the blood. It continues to persist, even though the blood isn't dried up yet. The figure turns to you, takes their hood off, and reveals themselves. Ghislaine Maxwell. As you take a step forward, she shoots red lightning from her fingertips. It seems she's been dabbling in the arts of satanic energy, but why? The storm seems to get more powerful. Lightning starts to strike all around the pentagram. It seems that something is trying to be summoned. Ghislaine says she's impressed you've made it this far, dealing with the likes of the biggest threats of MTC, but she reassures Batman that she is nothing like her adversaries. she starts to fly into the air and starts shooting lightning everywhere. What turned into a prison break has now turned into a world-destroying threat, and Batman has to act fast. And the fight begins. Ghislaine shoots tons of lightning bolts at you while flying in the air. She also covers the field with storm clouds to obstruct your vision, and also crashes down onto the floor like a meteor. The best times to attack her are with batarangs when she's in the air, and after she's crashed onto the floor. The fight is once again an endurance test. Once you've dealt enough damage, she'll enter her second phase, where she starts to charge up a giant lightning bolt. After dodging it, the field will become electrified, making the lightning even more potent. She also forms giant fists out of lightning, which she uses to slam down and crush you with. As the fight drags on, the lightning becomes more and more powerful. Ghislaine is throwing everything she has at you. But you're Batman, which means you're built different. You have the skills to swiftly dodge and figure out the right times to attack her. But once you deal enough damage, she falls to the floor. You walk up to her, powerless, and unable to fire any more lightning. As you get closer and closer, she starts to stand up, but starts laughing. It's too late, Batman. The ritual is complete. And at that moment, a giant lightning bolt strikes Ghislaine and the MDC as well. You seem to be ineffective, but you can hear screaming from down below. And as the smoke clears, Ghislaine, what did you do? What happened to the pentagram? Ghislaine isn't here anymore. She completed the ritual. What? Wait, I know that voice. Yes, Batman. It is I, Jeffrey Epstein. Epstein! I should have known. So this is what Ghislaine was planning. Correct. She was able to bring me back to life, at the cost of the blood of every prisoner at the NBC, including her, 6ix9ine, Luigi, Sam, Diddy, R. Kelly, and whatever was left without Chapo. I see. But why? Why would you return after all these years? Don't you see, Batman? My name is eternal. Even after all of these years, I'm still remembered and feared. But it seems that people have tried to put a blemish on my name. What? What does that even mean? Wait. You are referring to the Epstein files, or whatever you call them. I can't let those files be released, because if they are, my powers will weaken. Once I get my hands on those files, I'll destroy them for good. I'll be the strongest man in the universe, and you can't do anything to stop me, Batman. You sure about that? I don't know if you've noticed, but these prisoners have been absolute jokes to me. What? Wait. Why isn't there a scratch on you? You were able to beat the most vile villains in the MDC? With ease? Yup. So what's stopping me from kicking your ass right now? Impressive. But I can't stay here for longer now. I have reservations I need to attend to. Reservations? Wait, where are you? Until next time, Batman. And that's where our story ends. Batman was able to defeat the villains in the MDC, but Epstein is now out there, ready to plunge the world in chaos. What will Batman do now to stop him? Find out in a later video. Take care now.